So hi guys, my name's Amanda. I'm a cruise ship employment specialist. I worked on cruise ships for over a decade and then went into cruise ship employment and recruitment services for another 5 years. Last year, I started my own business called getalifeatsea.com, where now I help people get paid to travel the world. And today's video, we're going to be talking about what to do with all your stuff when you're getting ready to join your first cruise ship. So let's get into it. So number one, it's really important to deal with your stuff way before you even start applying for a cruise ship job. Why is this? Well, when you actually start applying, typically it can be anywhere from about 30 to 90 days to actually go through the full application and interview process. That's very typical. However, it can be a lot faster than that. One of my fastest hired clients ever to date applied to a cruise line, was interviewed within 24 hours, was hired within 48 hours, and was on his first ship within 7 to 9 days of actually applying, because he said he was available immediately and he was super excited to join. But it can happen super fast. So what you want to make sure is that you actually start dealing with your stuff way before you even start applying. And so one of the things I highly recommend is to check out a concept called minimalism. There are amazing resources online. One of my favorites are a couple of guys called The Minimalists. You can check out their stuff at theminimalist.com. Josh and Ryan, they have a fantastic website, great books, great blogs, just a phenomenal resources with regards to how to get started to minimize your physical items in your life. And that is so important even to do way before you even start applying, because it will enable you the clarity to really focus on what's important. And if you're applying for a cruise ship position, it will enable you to leave very quickly should you get a position and be available immediately. So really what minimalism is keeping only those items in your life that you use and that bring you joy. So that is kind of tip number one, is if you want to get into minimalism, because it is a great tool to get ready to travel the world on a moment's notice. Tip number two, for those things that you definitely do want to keep, but you know that you won't be able to take with you during your, say, 6-month contract, which is very typical when you're working on board, you could look into storage options. Again, I highly recommend using minimalism as a tool first so that you don't have to store things that you're not necessarily going to need. But if you do want to keep some items that you know you're not going to be able to take with you, start looking into storage options again way before you even start applying. So yes, you can look into commercial storage options, but you can also start talking to friends and family as well about the possibility of potentially storing some boxes in a basement or a closet or something like that. So when I first started working on ships at the beginning of my 10 years, I actually had, I would say, probably about 10 or so plus boxes that I had at my parents' house. They then moved and I had them in my mom's office storage for a bit. And then every contract that I did, I would actually keep going through the boxes and minimizing the items, because every contract that I did, I realized I was going to keep going back and going back and going back, and I wasn't actually getting use of all the items that were in storage. So if you don't want to get rid of everything to start with, look and think about some potential storage solutions, whether that's commercial storage or friends and family, which is even better because often they will just let you do it for free, potentially. And then finally, really think about what it is that you are going to want to continue to put in storage if you are working on a cruise ship. And this has something to do with when you're actually on board, the items that you're going to be buying, because you're going to be going around the world and seeing all these amazing places, and you're going to want to get souvenirs. So start to think about, even before you join, what type of souvenirs will you actually be interested in bringing back and wanting to use when you're actually done ships? So what I focused on as a souvenir is, you can see behind me, I collected postcards from my travels around the world. So that's a nice, easy thing to collect, to store. It doesn't take up much space. I also collected tea towels and fridge magnets. So nice small things that are easy to store and don't take up a ton of space, so that when you're traveling around the world and bringing stuff home, that you're not, filling up that storage area with, again, tons of stuff that you're not necessarily going to use. So those are my tips when it comes to what to do with all your stuff when you're getting ready to work on board a cruise ship. I hope you found this information useful. If you want to know in 30 seconds or less if a life at sea is for you, you can take my free Are You Ready for a Life at Sea quiz, which you can get at getalifeatsea.com/cruise ship quiz. I also highly recommend my How the Heck to Get a Job on a Cruise Ship guide, which has tons of information, over 50 pages of detailed clickable links for all of the major cruise lines' websites, their official employment pages, step-by-step application instructions, and tons more. So do check that out. You can go to getalifeatsea.com/guide to adventure. And of course, follow me on all my other social media platforms. I am on YouTube, of course, Periscope, and Facebook, where I actually live stream on both of those platforms quite regularly. You can also check me out on Twitter, Instagram, Google+, LinkedIn, and all that good stuff. And I'm everywhere. Just search Get a Life at Sea on all those platforms and you will find me there. So thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you next time.